back, Shop Rats. Today on Talk About It Tuesday, we're going to talk a little bit just about the GTS. I had intended this to be a big episode on the weekend. We were going to go for a nice cruise, and as soon as I got the car out on the road, it started raining, so I thought I'd shift gears. Pun intended. And we just have a quick Talk About It Tuesday on the Dark GTS. Let's watch the show intro. We'll see you in about 30 seconds. I'm Mike, and this is My Car's Shop.
Working out of a 100-year-old refurbished barn, bringing 35 years of experience to projects considered beyond repair. Vision, creativity, and problem solving are essential tools in this place. Watch as we transform junk into polished metal miracles. This is My Car's Shop.
So much for that. Plans of taking you guys for a drive today, but apparently the weather had other plans, so I guess it was just water burnouts today. One of the great challenges of having a car that's built as much as this one is it needs to be driven in order to run properly, and usually what happens is it gets started up, moved around and shut off, and it gets all loaded up, and I'm not burning the highest quality racing fuel in it right now because of cost. So I'm burning a called a mean green fuel, which is 108 octane fuel, but it does tend to set the plugs a little bit more than Cam 2. So however, cost wise it's like $4 a gallon cheaper, so go figure that. I can deal with the plugs. I mean, let's face it, when you have a car like that, it's not meant to be driven easy. It's meant to have the crap beat out of it, which is why it's on its second motor and second transmission in 20 plus years, and I've probably only put 1,000 or 1,200 miles on it in all that time. So, you know, it's made for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to be a major stress relief and an adrenaline release. The motor is getting tired in the car. I can hear a lot of noise in the engine, and I know a lot of it is the valve train. It's got, even though it's a hydraulic cam, it's got mechanical rockers on it, and they do need to be adjusted again. And the reason for the mechanical rockers was because that Mopar Performance cam, which is the, forgive me on the numbers, the 292 508 on 108 lobe center, I believe it's the biggest hydraulic cam. You can look it up, that Mopar Performance, in their catalog. The reason that is because in order to get that much lift out of that cam, they have to grind that cam on a smaller lobe center. Therefore, your stock push rods are too short. Of course, I could have done the measurements and ordered the correct set of push rods, or I could have gotten a set of adjustable push rods, but I opted to go with the Crane adjustable rockers on this. They were pretty inexpensive back in the day. Like when I got them, they were like $200. They're like 3 times that now, I think. But partly because I knew eventually I was going to build another motor for this car, and I knew I was probably going to be going to a mechanical cam in that. So why not get the parts ahead of time? I can use on a hydraulic cam, adjust them properly to make up for that 100,000s, and go from there. Many thanks to channel viewer George. I have another 340 that I've mentioned a couple of times and I think I've shared with you. I'm probably going to go ahead and build that 340 or one of my other ones to put in this car at some point. I've got a good forged crank back there. I've considered a stroker kit, but I've thought, you know, use the parts you have, make those work. You've got a good set of nitrous, you've got a good forged crank, you can pump up to 250 horse with this nitrous kit, bump some good compression in that, more than maybe is recommended for a nitrous motor because I can. You've got a good set of big rods in here, they'll need to be checked, but why not? And then pour more money into a good transmission behind it. I've got a good 727 around here right now that's got a 904 in it that I built, oh my goodness, 20 years ago probably. And of course that would leave me more resources ultimately to put in that car, which if my dream comes true, if my plans come to fruition, that 413 that's in the back room will be punched out to 426 and there'll be a 671 blower on that. Well, you can kind of, you know, I haven't really unveiled the project yet, but it's going to be a lot faster than this thing. And, well, you know, it's just going to be crazy, let's put it that way. So, but what I wanted to talk about in this video, as we're out running it, it's raining out for one thing, but the engine's also breaking up a little bit, and I want to just touch on that just briefly. There's 2 reasons in this video, in the ride-along part, that it was breaking up. Number 1 is the plugs are just loaded up and they needed to be cleaned out. If I was to take it out again right now and hammer on it some more, I'm quite sure those plugs would be cleaned up and it would be running a little smoother. It normally doesn't break up like that. The second thing that happened there was because there was a bit of moisture on the ground, I hit the rev limiter really hard. I keep a 6000 chip in my MSD6AL because this is a 360 and they really, I mean 6000 is really pushing a 360 more than it should. And but I basically did that to keep the rods in the block. I've thought about putting one of my smaller chips in. I've got a whole set for it. I think everything from 8,000 down to like 5,000. But anyway, so there's 2 things in that video when you hear it. And I believe in transparency and sharing things, so I'm just sharing honestly with you what it's like when you have a car that's built like this. You know, it's not like running your mild cam 318 like is in Scoops where it just runs good and never loads up. There's a lot of fuel going through this thing, and it loads up, and it's a job to keep these things cleaned out. I'm sure some of you guys can relate. I'm sure Just Mopar Joe knows exactly what I'm talking about. Well, that's what this episode today is. Talk About It Tuesday, just a short little talk episode. Decided to do something a little bit more hands-on in my talk since I couldn't really take you guys for the drive that I wanted to. Today I was actually going to take you to town and we were going to cruise town, but the weather is just not cooperating. It's been raining on and off the whole time I've been filming this. So, all right, that'll do it. We're over on the Insta thing. We're over on the Face thing, /MyCarShop. We're here on the You thing, of course. So like, subscribe, hit the bell so you receive those notifications, and drop some comments down there. Join us over in the community tab. Join in the discussion over there. Look for the link to our merch down in the comment section. And one more thing, don't forget, it's important. Rock!